Yo, what is up guys? Alright, I'm back with another chess video, and yeah man, as soon as I played this game and I saw that I got two brilliant moves in a row, it's right here, look, I'm not lying to y'all. Yes, two brilliant moves in a row by me. I had to show you guys this one, man. In terms of like the gameplay and stuff, you know, I didn't play too good or nothing, neither me or my opponent, but still it was a pretty wild game. I had no blunders, which is nice, but I did have a few misses and mistakes and inaccuracies. But still, man, two brilliant moves, bro, in a row. Whew. That was nice, bro. That was nice. And it was a win. I did play this game a few days ago, so this isn't my current rating. My current rating is like an 854. So, yeah, hopefully within the next day or two I can make 900. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be making a video on that, so stay tuned. But, yeah, man, let's go ahead and let's get on with the analysis on this game. So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, lately I've been playing the Jabava London, which is just d4 and then knight to c3 and then bishop to f4. So yep, just developing my pieces here. And yeah, so whenever they do this, whenever they move their bishop to f5, I like to play this move here just because I like to eventually, advance my pawns and either try to trap the bishop or just get my pawns advanced. Because usually they castle short, which is good for me because my pieces are already advanced, and I could already have like a nice little attack going there on the king side. So he brings his pawn down to e6. Again, starting with my attack here on the bishop, he moves his bishop back to g6. I move that pawn up to e3, kind of getting my bishop ready for development here. He moves his bishop to d6. And so yeah, here I took because I had this square here. I only had these squares, and this one. I mean, I guess I could have done it. Maybe threatened the knight, but he would have just took back with the queen, and I didn't like that. So I just decided to take with the bishop here, thinking he was gonna take with the queen, but he actually took with the pawn, which is better for me because now he has like this awkward pawn structure here. And I check with the king. He blocks that with the knight. I moved my knight over to h6. I didn't really think about developing him here because I just didn't feel like these squares were very promising, and plus I wanted to launch an attack on the king side. So that was perfect. He tried to kick out my bishop with his pawn, but I just take, and then now he just has a really completely fucked up pawn structure, which is nice. So yeah, I moved my knight over to g5. He castles short. And so yeah, man, here I'm just like, this was perfect, I already have a few pieces on the king side. I'm finna try to castle myself, castle long, and then double up my rooks, and then get my queen involved on the king side here. So this was very good for me. I advanced my pawn, continuing with my attack on the bishop. He brings his pawn down to h6. So yeah, here I wasn't really afraid. I wasn't too afraid of this here. He could have took with his pawn and my knight, because my plan was, take with bishop, and then, I'm going to have this h-file completely open for my rook, and that would just be, completely bad for my opponent here. But he actually just retreats with his bishop, which is what I figured. And I don't know if I should have, I feel like maybe this was a bit too premature, a move, but I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to open this position up if I didn't, take. So I decided to take with the knight, knowing he was going to take with the king, which he does. I checked the king, making him go back. And I castle long, getting ready to double up my rooks on the h-file here and cause some mayhem. He brings his pawn down to e5. I bring my pawn up to g5, hoping he was going to take here so I could advance my pawn. And if he didn't take, either kick out the knight or just take the knight. But yeah, so he does take, advance. Continue my advancement. He brings his queen out to b6, threatening this here. But I mean, at this point, I wasn't too scared because I could just take with my king. I check him. I check his king with my pawn. He moves his pawn over to h8, which probably isn't the best move for me because my pawn here is just kind of stuck without any. I can't really move it, And my rook here is once I move my rook, he could just take my pawn. So I mean, I guess I do have the queen protecting it. But if I ever were to move my queen, he would just be able to take the pawn there if my rook wasn't there either. But yeah, this is kind of just like a stalemate position. Neither of us can really move here, which is kind of annoying. So I just had to figure out some kind of way to move some pieces or maybe sacrifice some stuff and get something rolling. So yeah, I move my rook up to h2, getting ready to bring my other rook over to h1 so I could have them doubled up and ready to attack. So yeah, here he brings his rooks, and I definitely did not want to do this, or didn't want him to bring his queen down, because yeah, that was just fuck my shit up. So I pushed my pawn up to b3, negating that. I doubled up my rooks on the h file. He brings down his pawn a5. I bring my knight over to a4 just because I didn't want him to advance his pawn and potentially like me have to take, and then this is gonna be open for this and stuff. So yeah, I definitely did not want that. So yeah, I brought my knight over to a4. He brought his queen down to b4, but again, I wasn't really too worried because all my pieces here were protected. So yeah, this was kind of like a bluff move, really, not really doing much. But yeah, here I brought my rook over to h6, thinking maybe I could sacrifice to get something going, because this position here right now was kind of like I had some threats here, obviously on the king side, but I just had to figure out how to like open up the position to get something going. So he brings his king down to g7. Not really sure why, because yeah, all this allows me to do is to eventually promote my pawn, and then eventually do something like this. So yeah, that was kind of a mistake on his part, but welcomed for me. I brought down my queen to e2, planning on tripling up my pieces here, and also I was gonna eventually take here. I wanted to take if he didn't take first, and then I was also gonna be protecting that, and then maybe pin the knight to the king or something. He brings his pawn down, and I bring my queen over to h2. He brings his rook over to h8. I take, planning on him taking there, which he does. And so now I bring my queen over to e5, pinning his knight to the king. So now we can't move this knight. So that's nice. He brings down his pawn to c4. I bring my rook over to g1 because I noticed that this pawn here is completely hanging. There's like nothing protecting it, and also this could definitely open up my position. But here I noticed that I actually messed up. So he could have actually took my rook here. So yeah, this was not a good move by me, but thankfully he didn't see it. So yeah, and the only thing protecting this knight here was the king. So actually, if he did take, I could have just took the knight and then go back, and yeah, that would have been checkmate actually. So yeah, it was a good thing he didn't take. So I didn't leave my rook hanging because he couldn't take. I mean, he could, but I would have just been able to checkmate him faster. So he took with his pawn on b3, and I took back. Wasn't really. I know I left my king kind of vulnerable here, but I wasn't too worried because I always had these two squares here for protection. So he did end up checking me with his rook. I moved my king over to b2. He checked me again. Moved my king over to a3. He checked me again. But yeah, I just moved it down, and then he moved his rook down. So yeah, this was a complete mistake on his part because I guess he just didn't see that my knight takes his rook. And yeah, this was an exchange I was very willing to to welcome. So yeah, I took his rook with my knight. And he took back with his queen, but I wasn't too worried here. So yeah, let me actually turn this on just so you guys can see so you guys can see my genius. No, I'm kidding, guys. But yeah, I took the pawn here. Brilliant move. He moved his rook over to the doubling up. So yeah, what I'm assuming he was thinking about doing here was bringing his queen down to c2, and then having to move back and then just checkmating me here. But yeah, I noticed he did that, so I turned my passed pawn into a queen, promoted that hoe into a queen. Here, the only move he has is to take with his rook because I'm checking his king. So I take with my rook, and the only move he has here, or he doesn't have to take my rook, but I figure this is just too good of an opportunity for him to pass up on. And plus, if he doesn't take my rook, I'm just gonna like create tons of more problems. I could just come up here and then eventually come here, and that's checkmate. But yeah, so he takes my rook. I take his knight because it's hanging there. He moves the king down to h7. I move my I take that pawn and check him as well, and then he makes his final king move, which is king to h6, and then I checkmate with g6. So yeah, man, this was a pretty wild game, but I feel like for the most part I had it under control. Like I said, I didn't really play my best game, but it was a game with 2 brilliant moves in a row. So that was pretty nice, man. But yeah, man, stay tuned for my future videos. Like I said, hopefully within the next day or two I can make 900 elo. So that's gonna be exciting. But yeah, man, that's it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for my next video. See you on the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.